All right. Cheers.
We're doing cheers, man.
Happy podcast.
We'll air cheers.
Ray.
We got you. I got you.
I get you. Okay. Ray Carnes in the house.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Tabby Hour.
I appreciate it, man.
Welcome to Greenville, South Carolina.
So nobody tells the story better than you.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you kind of give an introduction of who is Ray Carnes and the amazing business you've built over the last 10 years.
All right. Yeah. Glad to. Thanks for having me. Greenville, by the way, is a beautiful city. I was really impressed with it. So thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
That was the phone call.
Oh, you got the phone call that you wanted to take?
Already.
He said it would happen. So no, I'm the co-founder of Recteq Grills. That's RECTQ Grills. And to tell you a little bit about us, we got incorporated in 2009. Sold our first grill in 2011. We make pellet grills. We got several different models from travel size all the way up to big size. And so I've been doing that and since 2009. And it was kind of one of those things that was born out of necessity. Sometimes we'll start a new business. I was struggling in the car business. It was failing in 2008 and 2009 or 2008. Everything was going south quickly, as everybody knows. I've told the story many times, so I'll just tell it in a nutshell. So, because I'm sure most people have heard it, but I was like, this isn't working. I'm failing, and it was hard. I had this idea kicking around for all these years to make a grill. I was always a avid griller. I call it like a backyard hero. I knew enough to be dangerous, and so when that car lot started failing, I was just like, what do I have to lose? Everybody that I've ever heard that's kind of really successful at some points put it all on the line. So I just said, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm never going to do it. I looked over at my wife on the couch one night. I said, I'm making a grill. And she said, good luck, honey. She looked up from her magazine. Everybody laughed at that story because she didn't know how serious I was. And the rest is history, as they say. So it's, I always like to say that God works in mysterious ways, because it's one of those things. You're sitting on the couch depressed and like, what am I going to do? Feeling sorry for yourself a little bit. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, because I work where it's working hard. And they did the cash for clunkers back then, which just wiped out little guys like me. So one, you couldn't sell a car, and now all of a sudden you can't buy a car. So it's like a double whammy. But you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. And then you look back a few years and go, wow, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. It gave me the ability to take a risk and to jump off that cliff. And the rest is history, as they say. It's been wildly successful. We sold 90 grills the first year. And there's been times now where we've sold 1,000 grills in a day. So
Holy cow.
Come a long way.
That's a lot of grills in a day.
It's a lot of grills.
How many people are there in this country?
Roughly almost 400 million.
So we got to get that number up. We got to get to 400 million grills in a year.
I was thinking the planet. I was going to get 9 billion. That would have been bad now.
That's bad.
So what was you're sitting in your backyard, you go in to talk to your wife. What's the first step? Where do you even start?
Well, it's a really fun story. I didn't know, I have no college education, so I'm not formally educated. And so I was like, what am I going to do? Well, again, this was 2008. So I knew there was a shop somewhere empty because they're out of business. And the first thing I thought about was the, car mecca, Detroit, Michigan. So I went to Craigslist and started writing ads. I would do anything if I had those original ads because they were written so poorly, because I didn't even know what I was trying to ask. And I basically said some goofy line, like, I'm trying to make a grill and I want some drawings. And originally I thought I was going to be able to make it in America. We can talk about that. That turned out very quickly. I realized that was impossible. It was impossible, at least, and be competitive. But at any rate, I started getting phone calls, and it was from people like, okay, what are you trying to do exactly? And then I would, in layman's terms, tell this person, I need some drawings. I want to build a grill in China. And they go, oh, okay, you need AutoCAD drawings and this and that. So I would go on Craigslist, erase my ad and write an ad that was a little more better, because I knew some lingo. And those ads, after about 4 or 5 times and about 15 phone calls, I was getting higher quality engineers calling me. I was talking the lingo a little bit. So it's really, strangely enough, I kind of got educated about that design process and the the prototype process through these Craigslist ads. And finally, an engineer called me. He happened to be right in Augusta, Georgia. And he said, "Hey, I can do this for you, and I can actually help you source it." And
Wow.
I took a competitor's grill over there, and I said, "Hey, I just don't understand why that's that way. This is that way. This can be stronger. Why isn't the computer better? Why don't we make this a stainless steel?" Just all these, just really common sense type improvements that I thought you could do. And there were some things that I liked about the technology that we keep the same. So I just built a better mousetrap, if you will. And so it was a kind of a learning process. And now that wealth of knowledge, I could do it again. It's just amazing what I learned, but it was incredibly from Craigslist ads.
Did you try to like hand draw anything? Like, do you have like a back of the napkin, like
Absolutely.
little sketch?
I wish I had it still, but 100%. I was just doing little sketches on napkins or typing paper and erase it. And I mean, I'm a doodler anyway, so I had all kinds of things like that.
Do you have the original CAD drawings that this?
I do.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, I have those. Yes.
How close are the grills from that? Like the original to now?
They're really close. I mean, we've made obviously a few changes. I mean, there's more stainless steel now. We've made some improvements that you learn, but the basic design of the flagship grill hasn't changed. It's with a larger hopper in the rear, and we've just maybe improved the stance so it's a little more stable and protected the wiring from the dogs. Dogs love to get those barbecue wires and chew them up. So, so we just learned some things like that. There's a lot of puppy warranty issues over the first few years.
And so,
go ahead.
You came out with one grill, right?
Sure.
That was a start. How many grills are you at now? How many different variations?
I think
12.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's up over 10. I was going to say 14. It might be 14 SKUs, including the coolers. I don't remember the exact number right now. That's sad. I should, but we just came out with some new models.
Yeah.
And we now even have a flat top called the Smokestone, which is
like the Blackstone.
like the Blackstone, Smokestone, Blackstone.
Is it digital control or is it still just 0 to 5?
It's digital. And what's neat about it, and people think it's gimmicky that you're powering a flat top with pellets. But what's neat is it's the world's only pellet powered griddle. But there's some benefits you get.
Cool.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And it's got a 360-degree smoke exhaust, so you can actually get some flavor from
like
the
close
pellets.
the lid.
You can close the lid on it and
That's
still cook on
cool.
a flat top. But what's neatest about it is because you've got a PID computer that's controlling the feed of the pellets. Now you can set it at a temperature.
Oh man, that's huge.
And it will adjust constantly. So you're not going to end up with propane. You tend to get a hot spot. And it's real hard to work your way backwards.
For sure. Mine's like hot on the left side, cooler on the right side because the gas feed's on the left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then it heats up and you can't control it.
Yeah, it gets too hot and you have to wait. And with this, you get that sweet spot that you like, and it's making those. It's thinking on the fly and making.
Does it have
adjustments.
zones?
It has. It doesn't have zones. There is a spot on one side that's just a little bit warmer, but it has a second shelf that you can use as a different zone for heat.
Oh, that's super cool. And then you said you have like a small like travel version now too.
Yeah, it folds up. That's similar. The best way to describe it is similar to a ironing board. You can lower the legs like that, and so it fits really perfect on a
truck bed
or a truck bed, the tailgate, because you don't have to cook with it with the legs up, or a drawer for an RV. They'll leave it right there in their drawer, pull the drawer out and cook for RVers. So,
I mean, so you really dug in and like, we're like, man, these are things I like to go do. I'm going to design something for like every aspect of my life that I like. I'm going to bring a grill with me.
That's right. Everybody can do it now. They can, It's pretty cool when my mother likes to RV, and she's gone in some RV camps, and she calls me and says, "The people next to me have a Recteq." And I'm like, yeah.
So with the extensive knowledge of direct to consumer sales, marketing, in hindsight, would you have done another grill? And if not, what would you have done differently?
Sure. That's a great question. I love Recteq and what it's done for me. And it's, it's amazing company, and it's been really good for me. And, but I like to tell people, because I never know if somebody's listening, when I tell people if they have an idea, to go over some things and what maybe I would do different. So it's a really good question. So I have this saying that if you can answer yes to these three questions, you have a direct to consumer model that you can build off of. So I'll circle back to that answer, but the 3 questions are, do you bring something new to the table? Does it appeal to the masses? And can you sell it on the internet? If you could say yes, there's a discussion, of course, for each 3 things about an hour long, but if you can say yes to those 3 things, you have a viable DTC business, direct to consumer. So you want to, something new to the table could be bullhorn handles with the Recteq and some stainless steel and a bigger hopper. But if I had it knowing what I know now, and that's a real big hypothetical because I love Recteq so much. If I was to ever do it again, I would find something that has less moving parts, ask those 3 questions, and then build a direct-to-consumer model around it. Like I think about, and I'm so jealous, but I think about a good example. The guy that did the pillows, he did direct-to-consumer with pillows, and he's a billionaire with a B. And there's no moving parts, nothing to break. Nobody's getting mad if their brisket is overdone. So
or the chicken is too juicy.
Yeah, the chicken's too. Brad says that our first cancellation, Cuzzin, was from a guy called me and said he was canceling because his chicken was too juicy. And I said, I guess you're going to be our first return because I can't fix that. But
nor would you want to fix it.
But his thing, does it appeal to the masses? Was everybody's got dozens of pillows. Did you bring something new to the table? All he did was a slogan, the best night's sleep ever. And can you sell it on the internet? For sure. And he built $1 billion company doing that. So I guess if you're out there and you have an idea, if there's something you want to do and you can answer yes to those questions, and you have a plan to market and create content, do something that you don't have moving parts and it can break. It's a lot simpler to do than the grill. But that being said, I love what we did, and I'm still passionate about it, and I love grilling. But
do you still love grilling now?
I do. Now, I don't as much as I don't do it as much. I still love it when I do it, but sometimes it's you live it and breathe it all week, and so sometimes. And with Recteq, my wife's like a pro now too. That was funny when we first got Recteq. She did a prime rib one night. I got home from work, and it was like world class. And it hurt my feelings. I'm like, hey man, that's my gig. I'm the professional griller.
What do I contribute now?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm always interested in the journey of the person behind the brand and the company that's built. And, somebody coming in the first time meeting a Ray Carnes or, a lot of examples of, an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos, these big companies. A lot of people don't understand the personal sacrifices, struggles through that journey.
Right.
What were some of, obviously there's business things to overcome, but what were some of like the personal things that you dealt with growing the company?
There's so many that it's a whole show if you want it, but I'll tell you some of them. The first one was, working 2 years without a paycheck. And that's tough when you're putting in the kind of hours I was, and doing barbecue school, knocking doors, trying to give away hot dogs. And I was doing everything I could to sell a grill.
Man, you're going door to door. I never got to knock on my door if I wanted to. I love me a damn glizzy.
Yeah, I went door to door. I kid you not, door knocking. And so, I remember one night, a story that my wife and I always tell, that I worked this one night. I was getting home at 11:30, and I did a barbecue school, so I had to clean up after that. And on the way home, I said, man, I'd like a cold beer. And I didn't have enough money to buy a beer when I was on my way home. And I got home, and it was 11:30 at night, and I knocked on the door's locked. And she opens the door. She could just see it on my face. She said, honey, what's wrong? And I just cried. And it was just so emotional because I'm putting in this effort, and I know there's a payoff. I believe in it so much. But, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, literally. And so it's just, you go through these low points, and you just got to, pull your pants up the next day and do it again, and figure it out and swing with the punches and figure out a new way. And then I guess the struggles I've had, as the company grew, were different. And I knew I cracked the code and we were off to the races. But then nothing prepares you for being successful. There's so many books on how to become successful. There's not many like how to handle that, how to handle with people approaching you constantly asking for things, constant calls like, hey, can I buy you lunch and pick your brain. And so there's a lot of that. You still got your own thing going. And that was a very difficult adjustment because I have trouble saying no to things. I want to help everybody I can. So I got, there was a point there that was a real low when we were doing well because I was spread so thin. It was a little overwhelming. It's so much. And my defense mechanism when it's that much stuff is kind of to shut down, and which is the exact opposite of what you should do.
For sure. Yeah.
So that created the problem. So I just remember that was a learning curve for me. It really was to, get my life in order and learn how to say no to some of the smaller things, and to get some people helping me with some of the multitasking because it was a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. Do you have so I know you got a team at Recteq, right? There's a solid group of employees and a board and all that. What about for you, personally? Do you have a advisory team or a Ray Carnes board just for you?
I have a guy
besides your wife.
I call him my HPS and James Lombardo, but he's HPS is head problem solver. So, but he's really technically his title is chief of staff, so he can handle some of these day to days. With you've got different things that come up there. Your most valuable asset becomes time. So you have different things that come up. We have a house at the beach, and there's problems will come up. It's it's going to take a whole day with phone calls, and it's just I don't have time to deal with this issue about a mailbox or something. And James, will take care of that for me and delegate appropriately because it's that kind of thing that got a bit overwhelming. A bunch of little problems, and of course, there's bigger things he handles with finances and stuff as well. But it's nice to have somebody that can really take the smaller stuff off your plate, so you can concentrate your time on what you're best at,
So you were super focused solely on Recteq. You guys had a deal where, you stepped away from that a little bit. You're still involved, obviously. Is that when you started getting involved in the other businesses that you're a part of now?
Yeah. So I jokingly say I'm like a serial entrepreneur. It's in my blood now. And then I have some money where I could, risk some and do some other things. So I started, looking at different things that I could try. And so right now I'm in Second City Distillery, which makes these products here, the vodka and the ready to drink and the bourbons. And then, so I have a distillery now. I did a Ray's car wash, a really nice tunnel.
Nicest car wash I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you. It's doing really well.
Is it like one of those drive through, you got the vacuums, you pull it over afterwards and all that?
It's the most advanced car wash you've ever seen in your life.
Exactly. If anybody listening has ever been to one of the Buc-ee's and they have the really high-end car washes, some of them have them. That's the same type of tunnel. We use the same manufacturer of their equipment. So it's a state-of-the-art type tunnel. But you're exactly what you're talking about. We got 21 vacuums that you do self-clean your car after you go through the tunnel. It actually washes your car 3 times at our wash. So,
cool light show.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I love a car wash.
Yeah.
There's something, Pete, having a bad day, just, go drive through a car wash. It's great.
Yeah, chill for 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
My 12-week-old daughter loves it too.
Yeah. Well, that's it's funny, marketing wise, the light show is for those kids when they're by there like, let's go. I want to go to the car wash.
I'm still that kid.
They're for the kids and cousin.
Yeah. So what's this dirty girl? These RTDs. They're on the table. I got an empty cup. Can we try one out?
Yeah, try the dirty tea.
This one
here? That one right there. I think you'll like that. So it's kind of dangerous if it's just like a sweet tea on a hot day. And
these they're made with liquor. Yeah,
they're made with vodka. Sure, with our Dirty Girl vodka and Dirty Girl with U's. By the way, if you're listening and can't see it, DURTY and the same with the girl.
And they're a little carbonated too?
They're a little carbonated too. So what you think of that sweet tea there?
Oh man, it's good.
It's good stuff, right? Especially out in the water or whatever.
Yeah, cold on a boat.
Yeah.
They have a Noble Jones bourbon that is world class.
Yeah.
Really good.
Masters Week in Augusta, they were doing a taste test with some really high-end bourbons. I'm not a bourbon drinker, but so I wish I could recall the names they were going against. But because we're in Augusta, of course, we had our Noble Jones there, and we were winning about half the time against these really expensive bourbons. So we've got this guy, kind of a mad scientist, and he's done a real good job with that Noble Jones.
What other companies? You're involved in quite a other companies as an investor in Tabbi, and the board of directors at Tabbi, and
board of directors at Tabbi and investor in that. They're really excited about that. And then also a company called Turn Medical. I'm an equity holder in that company. It turns patients that are in ARDS, acute respiratory distress, turns them over in the prone position and gives them like an 8-hour therapy where it kind of just moves them upside down like that. These are people that are unconscious in a coma, and it's one nurse can do it. So a guy my size would take like 6 nurses, and a lot of injuries happen from that, from back injuries to the nurses. So this is one nurse can do it, drive the patient, turn them over. We've got some amazing numbers coming out as far as saving lives, and they're out of San Antonio, Texas. It's just a really cool company. We have a technology that's patented, and also it wicks the moisture away from the patient to help with bed sores as well. So it's really cool. Really excited about that venture.
That's awesome. And
trying to diversify.
What else? I'm trying to remember what else.
So let's see. There's Tabbi. There's Turn Medical, Recteq, Second City. I do some stuff with land as well. What am I missing? The car wash. There's one more. Man, I can't remember.
Toilet paper?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I haven't talked about that. Not one bit publicly.
I didn't know if we could or not.
We can.
Okay.
Because I've got the stuff trademarked. Okay. And so that's why I'm hesitant. So
wait, you got a trademark on toilet paper?
Well, some of the lines and name and stuff like that. So
I was like, man, you're coming out with a new kind of toilet paper.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Is it
liquid?
I knew there was one more because I was counting on my fingers. I was like, how many businesses do I have here? But anyhow, but it's going to be a bamboo toilet paper. So going back to those 3 questions, but I said if I ever had something to do again, I would do it. Something that couldn't break. This is cool because deforestation. So our thing is going to be whether you wipe right, wipe left, or you wipe somewhere in the middle. We all can all agree that saving trees is a good thing, kind of thing. And so the line that I trademarked is saving trees one log at a time. So we're gonna do a toilet paper subscription model direct to consumer. Really cool product, and that's going to be coming out probably in about 4 months. It's the first time I'm going to reach out personally to our Recteq customer base and ask them to support something. And when the
we doing R&D, we doing R&D in toilet paper yet?
Yeah, I have. I'll get you some headed your way, cousin. I'll get both of you guys some. I'm looking forward to your feedback. No FaceTiming though.
No pictures.
That's gonna be it. All right, so today we're bringing 15 people to the office, and y'all gotta, just come in R&D.
Yeah, here's the Taco Bell. Oh man! Get back with me in 20 minutes.
That's a tough R&D session, man. Yeah. All right, no one flush. I gotta go see how well the toilet paper holds.
Some great branding too.
I saw your little stance thing in the bathroom here. You guys look like you take it serious.
The squatty potty.
Squatty potty.
It'll change your life.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah,
they've done well with that thing. I've never tried it.
So. Just you gotta try
How did
it
we
out.
get here? We're talking about poop now.
You gotta try it. One log at a time.
Oh man, I needed that. That was a good laugh.
This is really good.
Hey, we take our shit serious here.
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
That's right.
It's endless from a marketing standpoint. The puns, you can't even talk about the business without bringing that shit up.
Yeah. So. Oh man, I hope it doesn't turn out to be a shitty business. Right?
Here we go.
Man, we're down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Maybe we start the podcast over. Just do it about the toilet paper.
We'll just do a whole segment on it. So thinking about, a lot of businesses, also a family man,
yes,
kids, grandkids. What have been some of the biggest lessons you've learned? I mean, as a new dad, it's a journey. It's definitely an adventure from you're a pregnant wife to watching the life happen and begin.
Making a human.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned as a father?
Yeah, I've got one son. He's amazing. And he's just such a great kid. We've been really blessed because I've made some mistakes. And looking back, there's definitely some things I would have done differently. Probably one of the biggest regrets that I have is not etching out time just for us. I was so busy. And I just, I did, don't get me wrong, we did stuff together, but there were certain things I missed that I'm like, why? I mean, you need to really focus on making sure because that you have that special time with just your immediate family, because when they say they grow like weeds, they do, because before you excuse me, you blink your eyes and you got a man sitting in front of you that, you get lucky if I'll text him. Sometimes he texts me back 3 days later. But so there was that time aspect that you'll never get back. So don't miss it, man, because it's treasure every moment.
Especially running a business.
Yeah,
I already see it. It's like,
yeah, it's tough, and you really need to just make sure. I'd have a free time, and I remember going on like a guy's trip because I finally had a weekend, and if I could turn back the clock, it would have been a me and Colden trip, instead. And so there's that, and then I probably would have not shared with them the success as much as I did because I just struggled so much growing up. And as a young man, I didn't want him to have the same struggles. So I'm like, we're doing this. I shared everything with him. And I probably would have made him work a little bit harder instead of a brand new truck when he was 16 and that kind of thing, just to appreciate money and the success a little bit more. So, he had a little rougher go at it. And don't get me wrong, like I say, he's a wonderful kid. So luckily, he never went south to the bad things or anything like that, because I sure did tee it up nice for him if he wanted to, and he did. And he's a great kid. And we've got 2 beautiful grandkids. But I just probably would have instilled a little bit more of how hard it is to be successful, because we sold our first grill when he was 11 or so, and so him growing up, he just got to see all the good. He doesn't remember the grind part. He just saw all the benefits of it, not that grind that Dad was coming home at 11:30 at night and crying, because he can't afford a beer.
Yeah.
So I wish he would have remembered some of that a little bit more.
So does he still work in the business with you now?
He does. He's at Second City Distillery, downtown Augusta, Georgia. And he's in the manufacturing part of that, the canning and the bottling.
Now, it's the point you're saying about the time. I went on a 3-day trip recently and she grew a week, especially at that age.
Yeah.
But I imagine you've kind of been able to catch up on some of that now with freedom of time. And
we do. And, next month we're going to the beach together and I'm looking forward to it. But, you can never get back, those little moments. I get so mad. I've lost so much sleep over this one time. He wasn't starting in a football game and I chose to go hunting because he was just sitting the bench, and I would rather have been at that game, even though he's sitting the bench, and it's just those little moments that you're going to regret. And because hunting doesn't matter in the end, all that matters is your family, your loved ones, your friends and family. And, so if I would give advice to somebody, don't forget that. And it's easy to forget it for a second, briefly. Like that night I chose to go to the hunting camp instead of to a ball game. I regret it all the time, even though, he probably doesn't care like I do. It just bothers me.
Well, wisdom is the thing you get directly after you needed it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's never, you get it through the process.
That's right.
Thinking about giving advice for people going back to business, what are some of the biggest advice you would have for people either starting a business or currently running a business and trying to think about growing their business?
If you've got a good idea, is the biggest thing is, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Make that step towards it and start and do it fast. And, like I've always said, is be willing to pivot and change if it's not working, and but give it a go. I was the other day getting a new phone, and the kid was talking to me. His name was Nathan, and he says, he said, "Oh, Recteq's a pretty big account there." He said, "Oh, you're the owner of Recteq." Okay, He was, showing me some love, and he said, "I'm thinking about starting my own business. I want to do car wash business. What do you think?" And he kind of gave me his idea. I said, "I think you should do it." And I said, "Just go for it." I said, "You're 26 years old. The worst that happens, if you fail, you're going to learn so much. The only way to open a business, even if you fail, is to start. And if you fail, that knowledge is part of being a successful entrepreneur.
For sure. For 100%.
So the failure, you can't look at it as a failure. It was some education is what you got. And so you can do something else. And I didn't quite love the car wash idea because I used to own a car lot and I just know a little bit about that business, enough to make dangerous. But in my mind, I was like, it doesn't matter. I know I'm telling this kid a good thing. Do it. That's what he wants to do. Have at it. And
take the leap. Take the step. Yeah.
Jump off that cliff, man, because you'll never know. And I would rather try and fail than never try at all. And that's why I say now it's easy for me to say that. But I was in that situation with that car business because I had a mortgage and a boat and a vacation twice a year. And I got to play golf, 2 times a week. So, it's hard to just say, hey, I'm doing something different. And so that economy crashing in 2009 gave me the ability the courage to jump off that cliff. And so now I would tell anybody, don't wait for that moment. Do it right away because nothing but good's going to come from it, whether you fail or succeed.
Yeah, I think everyone at this table has. I know I've hit part of that journey, right? I had a good job twice. Made a big career change and go to the beer world and. Sometimes you got to take the step backwards to move forward in your life. You learn those lessons. But and any entrepreneur will have that same, you don't have to hit bottom to go do the thing that you think you should do. Yeah. So
don't wait for bottom. And I have a similar saying, like sometimes you said, sometimes you have to take a step back. I say attack life with a plan to retreat. So if you have to retreat and go at it again in a different direction, do it. But
build your team up, right? Sometimes you might not have the right team to go do it, and you've learned that, and then surround yourself with the right people and you make it happen.
Exactly. I've found that's an interesting point as well, Cuzzin, because I found that that's really what I always say. God has given you a few gifts, exploit them. Because there's certain things I can't do, and you need to recognize the things you can't do and get a good team around you. And I've been fortunate enough. One of my gifts is being able to talk to people and people like me. I work well with people, and I've been able to always find team members that are able to help me with my shortcomings and recognize them and not having your ego get in the way of being successful because you think you know everything.
Absolutely. I'm in that journey. Bradley was part of my team that fell into my lap. We met through my wife, and 100%. It's you start building that team, and you can conquer the world
for sure.
Even if you're just doing a little thing, you're gonna conquer the world. Because someone's got your back no matter what. So
if you're gonna do things in the world that are big and risky, you need people you can call at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
that'll answer
for sure. I've got a few of them that are in my corner. You've introduced me a couple people today. One said they've been with you since the beginning, and when you said that, I know that you're smart, savvy business person because you need those people that are like family in your organization that you can call upon.
They're people you can trust no matter what. Hey, I'm gonna go out of town.
Yeah,
can you handle all this for me? Yeah, know. And it's great because even having people like. The other people that aren't in my business, they'll go do the checks and balances for me. Oh, hey, man, I was at your store down there and, something just wasn't right. But I'm letting you know just so you know. And, it's important. Everyone just, you got to have your buddy's back.
That's for sure.
Also your spouse.
And you got to show up with a shovel at 3:00 in the morning when they call you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whose car are we taking?
That's the only question. Whose car are we taking?
Who's got the pickup?
So obviously hindsight's always clear. Recteq worked out. You were taking a big risk.
Mm-hmm.
What was that journey like for your wife?
Yeah, so she was a big part of it. And one, she had a wonderful job and for a pharmaceutical company. And so she was able to help make ends meet. And when I wasn't bringing anything to the table to take this risk, and we had to sell her fancy car to make ends meet, but she supported me and let me chase that dream. And that's a big deal, because a lot of, and I understand a lot of wives, that could be a hard thing, a hard pill to swallow when you say, hey, I can't give you the exact payoff. I don't know what this is going to do, but I want to try. And if they say go for it, I mean, you've got a real one there, And so she was very supportive the whole way. And, I thank God she let me chase my dreams. I always think that I just want, one day I just want my grandkids to know that too, that I did, their crazy paps did something one day, chased his dreams. And, there's some grill around there that a lot of people know about all across the country. So that's why I say for those youngsters out there, chase your dreams, go for it.
Yeah, that's we similar story with Tabby, with my wife of, hey, I think I'm going to do this. Here's a hand drawing of something. And then not having a paycheck for almost a year. And she's like, I got you. Let's do this.
That's awesome.
So that's vital.
It's absolutely vital. You couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. And if you're distracted by the stress of it, then it's like,
right.
Can't really move the business. So one thing that blows my mind about Recteq that you've told me stories on, and I want to tell some of these cool stories maybe that you haven't told 100 times.
Okay.
Is customer service.
Right.
I mean, I've been with you and you're like responding to messages on the internet. I think you're pretty well known for your customer service within the Recteq family, but what are some of the wilder ones that have just been like, wow, how am I getting this call right now?
So you're getting like calls and emails and like direct from you? Like if I email the customer support line?
No, but everybody gets gets my cell phone number, and it's my real cell phone. It's in my pocket. Yeah. I keep my phone's on silent all the time because but I call my missed calls back. I answer texts. So I get calls from customers. They don't, oddly enough, it's other than some funny stories I'll share with you, it doesn't get abused that often. Legitimately, most.
Do you put like, hey, like this is Ray Carnes, owner of the company's?
Yeah, it says customer service number, and then it says after hours, and it says if you ever feel the need and you need to escalate anything, here's the owner's number, and here's his cell phone.
So they know it's your phone number.
They know it's my phone number. Some people call and check. They'll say, hey, I say, hey, it's Ray Carnes, and they'll say, just the co-founder? I say, yeah. And they say, okay, well, I'm going to buy one now because I was calling BS.
Find me one company that does that.
I've over the years, I bet you that's happened 25 times that somebody's called and I answered and they said they're buying right now because they didn't think it was true. And or I'll call them back in an hour. I mean, like, obviously I'm not taking calls now, but I do call every missed call back and say I missed your call. And it has resonated with so many people. My nephew.
That's so insane.
It's
man.
crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean,
my nephew's opening a business and he said, Ray, should I put my real cell phone number in? I said, I would. I said, why not? I said, because people appreciate that. And it responds to that old school customer service.
Yeah, now I feel justified taking so many phone calls because if Ray's doing it, I can still do it.
Still do it.
I gotta learn how to put mine on silent though. I feel guilty not picking up within 2 rings.
Yeah, I just have to do that in silent. It's funny, I don't miss many calls because I'm texting so much, but I get about 60 texts per day, different people. And not just, I mean, I might text one person 30, 40 times, but 60 different phone numbers a day on average. So that's what dictates my day.
And that's outside of like your
business,
friends, family.
Yeah, that's including them. So there'll be friends and family, about 5 of those during the day. My wife several times a day. What time you can be home for dinner.
And you got one phone.
One phone, yes. Yeah,
man.
It's great.
Man. That's insane.
The drunk calls on the weekend are the funniest.
Oh yeah.
Every now and then.
We get some of those at the brewery too, and they're good. You know, like
I want you to tell the story.
Man, I love your beer so much. You know,
it's changed my life.
Yeah.
At least my day. Changed my day.
And I mean, for you two people, like starting grilling at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know, like them 10 o'clock phone calls when they're eating that food.
Yeah, well, we get midnight sometimes the West Coast. So they're calling me at midnight.
Didn't you have a guy come to your house and pick up a part or something?
Yeah, that was a Thanksgiving, and he called and. Usually if they call on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve or Christmas, I always take the call. I know it's a legit problem a lot of times it's because they haven't used their grill in a while. It's Christmas Eve, they're cooking for the family. Maybe some water got in the pellets or something. So I'm going to take that call because I can hopefully get them back up and running. This particular guy, it turns out his auger motor was broken. I said, buddy, there's no quick fix. You need a new auger motor. We're closed. And I go, where are you located? And he wasn't, he was about 40 minutes from my house. I said, you can come get one for me. He came over to my house Thanksgiving. I took it off my grill, gave him an auger motor, and he went on and talk. He still tells that story. To this day. So, but I gave him my part, and then we sent him a new one the following week. But we were able to get them up and running for Thanksgiving, and give them a part off my grill. So it's really cool to do little things like that. You can't buy pub like that when they go and talk about it. And I'm not doing. I promise I'm not doing just for the publicity. But when you get that, it's always nice that they go share that with people.
That's. I mean, it's. You kind of think like, how is that even scalable to the level you've scaled it to? But
how many grills did you sell last year?
I know in money, we're selling over $100 million worth of grills a year.
Oh wow,
almost $200 million in grill, 200 million. So
did you ever think it would get that
big?
So it's funny. In my mind, I always wanted it to be a household name. That was my goal from the very beginning, and to be that big. But I never really understood what that looked like. So it is incredibly surreal now to see the operation, what comes with that. Because in my mind, we're going to be a household name. There's still 7 people shipping grills, but there's over 130 employees at Recteq, and I go in the warehouse, and I remember trading a grill for our first forklift, Old Yellow, we called her. The forks were crooked. It was pumping smoke out of the back. And now we got all these new Toyotas zipping around. And every time I see all those Toyotas and trucks lined up, I mean, we literally, UPS in Augusta had to buy new trailers to handle Recteq. So they changed.
And you only got 130 people? I mean, that's a bunch of people, but I mean, for, that many grills, that's like...
That's all direct to consumer, so it's not that much. And we just recently went to our first step into brick and mortar with Ace Hardware, but it's always been historically until the last year just DTC.
And it's all done in Georgia.
All done in Georgia, manufactured in China, and they're all shipped to the location in Augusta.
Shipped nationally or internationally?
No, just lower 48.
Lower 48.
Yeah.
Just because, so being in the beer industry, most of our equipment, couple companies are stateside. Everything's coming from China. Like, what's that been like? Dealing with COVID, major shipping problems, getting containers. Increasing. I mean, because your grills are still very affordable, and I know shipping rates are through the roof for containers, and they just keep getting worse, and then they get better, and then they get worse again.
Yeah, the shipping containers used to be $4,500 a container, and at one point there after COVID, they got up to $28,000 a container. So it was, and you couldn't not have products. So we struggled, because we had to continue to offer the grill, and we raised our price $100 a grill, but it was nothing compared to our cost increase. But they're coming back down. That's a really neat experience to learn how to manufacture something in China. I tell the story all the time. This is really important to me because you hear politicians all the time saying shipping jobs to China, and it's frowned upon. And the truth of the matter is, if my grill to its specifications was made in America, our $1,000 grill would be a $5,000 grill, and I'd have no employees. And I'd be probably out of business by now. And if I had employees, it'd be maybe a handful of employees, like 4 or 5, just the elite bought this $5,000 grill. Well, in the ultimate goal to have American jobs. So we have 130 employees. And that's not counting all the truck drivers for FedEx, UPS, and Estes that we employ.
The dock workers,
the dock workers, and then the people at Google that we replace the ads with, and the ads on Facebook. All the people that
radio stations, TV.
Exactly.
You go deep into marketing.
You can go deep
of
all the jobs, American jobs. So we are through and through an American company. So there's no person in the world that wants to make their product in China. If I could call next door and say, "Hey, Bob, I want this hinge bigger," I would love to make that call instead of getting drawings and having a language barrier. You do it because it's affordable. The lowest, our bullhorn handles on our grill are micro polished 304 stainless steel. The lowest quote I got to make and this was a friend quote in America, was $185 for those handles, and they are $15, where they were $35 in China for the set. So there's just no way to be competitive. And that's just the handles on the grill. And so that's why we're over there. I just thought we were talking about China and the experience, but that's why we're made in China. Maybe that changes one day. It's the regulation and the taxes and EPA and all that.
But you use one factory over there you're right. It's not outsourced to a bunch of like, I mean, that's the same. The reason I bought my equipment from the people I bought is I knew their stuff. It's not bad quality. Yeah, you can get bad quality stuff over there, but like you pick the right factory with the right manufacturing and the right specs.
Apple manufactured.
That's right. You got to pick the right manufacturer. You're exactly right. We visited. We sent someone over there that did that for a living to go and vet the different factories we had on the short list. And then when we visited the factory we used, and they've done a really good job for us and been with us since the beginning. And it's high quality.
Awesome. Same manufacturer.
Same manufacturer.
Have you spent much time over there?
I haven't. I've sent people. I've been over there a couple times. It's just it's a tough trip for me, man. The travel takes about 24 hours to get to the factory. Yeah. So it's a long way. And the food.
I need a lay flat. I ain't going over there unless I get a lay flat. Then
yeah. And that's what we did. But the food is just rough, man. You know, everything that we throw away on an animal when we clean and process an animal, that's what they're eating over there. So it's tough. Like they had a pickled jellyfish, chicken feet, and chicken pickled goose liver. I mean, just wild stuff. Jeez. Man. It's tough.
So I want to call out this spicy barbecue sauce.
Hey, why don't you pass me one of those transfusions? Let me try one of those.
It's the best barbecue sauce. What is your favorite seasoning, and then what's your favorite thing to cook on the Recteq?
Yeah, I think my favorite would be the Greek, which happens to sport my son's name, Colden's freaking Greek there. That's good on everything. And I use that also in like recipes that are inside, like a chili or spaghetti. It's a really good herby, thick one. My favorite thing to cook on the Recteq is always the big hunks of meat, like a whole ribeye, a whole fillet, a brisket. I love doing a meatloaf.
You gonna come out with a Recteq for a half a cow?
Yeah. we got one that will fit a whole pig, not half a cow yet, unless you quarter it.
You do have one that'll fit a whole pig?
We do. We have a 1400 now that will fit a smaller pig, and then we have some custom made by East Georgia Metals. Are made in the USA, yet they're built to order. Takes about 6 weeks, and they'll hold full size 300-pound hog.
Or what? Like if I wanted to custom order a grill that would fit a half a cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's cool. So that's a whole other side of the business too.
Yeah, we don't sell many because they get up there into the $14,000-$15,000 range, and you can get up there to $30,000. But these things are pieces of art.
Yeah, but if you're building out a smoke trailer to go competition barbecue,
that's nothing. Yeah. Some of those guys have $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah.
So it's really for those guys in the know. They realize what a good deal it is. But you can logo it up with your restaurant, and you can have a Tabbi grill, and so it's all it's all custom.
We should probably think about that.
Yeah, there you go.
I made a meatloaf on the thing that you guys did really well in the app. I mean, as an app guy, the fact that you can find a recipe and then it just kind of does it for you.
That's right. You can
connect to the grill.
Yeah, you can turn it on to the grill and have if you want to do it 350, 2 hours, you can put your probe. So you can turn the grill off and see the internal temperatures or whatever you're cooking, set alarms. So if you want to cook a meatloaf to internal 155, 160, whatever your favorite is, have an alarm go off and you can turn your grill off. So if you were doing something away from the house and you have a brisket on, you can turn the brisket off at when it hits an internal 203 and just let it rest on the grill. It'd be good there for 2 hours. So it's really nice and convenient.
I did some pork butts. I was at the office and I started them really slow and low. And then at noon, I wanted to turn it up, just open the phone and turn the grill up. It's like, man.
That's exactly what I did. A brisket Saturday, and I took some of my classic cars to an auto auction Saturday, and I had a brisket on. I started really slow because I can look around 2:00 and say, okay, what the internal is, and I'm gonna speed it up, and I cranked it up to 300 to finish to get it done.
I got into pellet grills, I don't know, 3 years ago, and it was definitely life changing to be able to set it and forget it. Before that, managing a wood fire is hard.
You can concentrate more on the cold beer when you.
Yeah, or not even being there. You can go to the bar and just let it hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a cabinet smoker. It's not a Recteq yet, but it was funny. It was funny right before Brad met you. We were talking about Recteqs, and I have a friend who has one. He's like, man, it's the best pellet grill that I've ever had that it rolls smoke. That's the problem with mine. I have a Pit Boss cabinet and it just it smokes, but it doesn't can't get that thing rolling. And he goes, man, I had this thing in my garage and I had to move it out of the garage because it filled the whole garage with smoke.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's, when you're trying to smoke something.
Yeah.
Obviously smoke's important,
Yeah. Yeah. You want, when it gets seasoned in, it will smoke really good. And it's the right amount. It's not overwhelming flavor. It's a very subtle hints of sweet. And you're not getting that. Some people will smoke stuff and it tastes like an ashtray and they think that's what it's supposed to do. But that's not true. In a competition world, you're supposed to get the flavors and some sweetness from the smoke, but not a overwhelming like smoking.
You guys doing your own pellets too? You guys have your own brand of pellets?
We do. We have the ultimate blend, and now we have cherry. I mean, we're not. That's a
pecan.
Cherry, pecan, and mesquite. Those are made in the USA, of course. And
peach. You doing any peachwood stuff?
I can't remember if that new line. I don't want to say in case I'm wrong, but I don't. I don't remember if we have any peach in there or not. Mesquite was really tough because you can only do blends with mesquite. There's sand in mesquite because there's sand in between the rings of the tree.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So you have to. It will kind of. In any pellet grill, it will make them act a little goofy if you're going straight mesquite pellets. So you have to blend it with like an oak or something like that. But they get the great mesquite. Really generates the most smoke as far as visible smoke.
Okay.
What was your biggest mistake you think you made over the years with Recteq?
I'm trying to think. The biggest mistake with Recteq, I guess, I really don't know. I mean, those would be early mistakes, Brad, honestly.
I mean, obviously it was a huge success. But
yeah, because once it started rolling, we really did a lot of things right and they weren't big. The biggest mistakes at the beginning when I was figuring out how to sell these things, I made a bunch of wrong turns. I started a barbecue school. I wasn't thinking big enough. You should think big, you'll be big. And so I said, well, I'm going to do barbecue school on Thursday night. And that was like one of those nights I got home at 11:30, but just working my tail off, talking to a small audience and knocking the doors when I was, instead of thinking about the big picture and how powerful the internet was. You got to think, I wasn't a computer guy at all. Very quickly, I became like a social media guru, but I just didn't realize the power of it. And so when we did the first AdWords on the internet, and I realized you could get your phone to work that way and talk to the whole country instead of knocking doors on one neighborhood, that was a big learning, a big learning experience for me because I was spinning my tires before that. And so it was, the first year we sold 90 grills and, no paycheck, barely paid the power bill, so I guess it was just those things at the beginning. But again, what we were talking about being an entrepreneur, you can't look at that as a failure. You look at it as part of the lessons you've learned and just be willing to pivot. A lot of people, I used the term with you last night at dinner, they marry a concept, an idea, and they're not willing to, a lot of times it's their ego getting in the way. They're not really willing to look at themselves in the mirror and go, that was a bad idea. It's not working. I got to do something else. They just want to sit there and marry that one idea and they'll go down with the ship. And so very early on, I made several mistakes. I mean, they're just small because I so quickly was off them. I was giving away hot dogs at Jiffy Lube, because I had a captive audience while they're getting their oil changed. That was one of my ideas. And I said, man, I can do this. I could scale it. I was thinking I could scale it with salesmen at all the Jiffy Lubes. I'm like, surely we could sell because the hot dogs, you could get them a cheap pack at Costco. And that's why I was doing hot dogs. They're cheap. And so I, realized that didn't work because we had carloads of people pulling up for free hot dogs and I could care less about the grill. So, you just got to be willing to say that's a bad idea. Move on.
Well, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
Thanks for coming to Greenville.
Thanks for having me in Greenville.
Hanging out.
It's an awesome, awesome city, man. Beautiful.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I'll get you.
Cheers. I don't even got to get up.